I'm out here this afternoon with my Honda Pilot. I had problems with it just recently with it actually wouldn't start. It has a brand new battery in it, as you can tell. So the battery is brand new. Should be no problem with that. I heard some weird clicking noises going on in the front also, like in the dashboard. So currently, I believe it's the alternator. So, and just like many other people, alternators are expensive. It's about a $450 job just to have that replaced by a mechanic. Most likely the mechanics will not replace this along with it. So I bought a new belt. So always remember to buy a new belt. If you're going to spend $200–300 on an alternator, or really any money on an alternator, you might as well just replace the belt also, just so you don't have the problems associated with having a belt snap on you and getting stuck in the woods, and then you feel like a retard for not changing it. So this belt does not look bad, but it's a lot easier just to replace it. So you can see the alternator is down there. So what I'm going to do is start taking everything apart. I'll start showing piece by piece as I go, and hopefully we get an idea. Again, this is a 2006 Honda Pilot. It's a good truck. It's been very helpful. I think it's 130,000 miles on this one. Remember when you take it off the serpentine belt, there's this pulley right here. This is the tension pulley. So basically I use I call it my big wrench, but I use this 9/16 socket and just hook it on there. Turn it counterclockwise, so when you get it on, like so, turn it counterclockwise, and you can see the belt starting to get loose. So the belt's getting loose, everything else is getting loose. So that's basically it. You could just take that, once you loosen it, the belt will come right off. Before I knew about that, I actually cut the belt off in the past on a different vehicle. And then tried to fight with it, try to figure out how to put it back on. So looking up some other YouTube videos, I was able to figure out that there's a tension pulley down there. So I'll get started. I'll show you what I do as I go. I'll show you this. I got tension on the tension pulley, as you can see. And then this pulls right off. Very important. Know the direction of the belt. Know how the belt goes on. Because when you try to snake it back on, trying to figure it out by hand, it's a nightmare. So remember how the diagram is. Sometimes if you make a video of it, or if you take a picture of it, it's a great thing. It's worth 1,000 words. Just remember the smooth ones. Some have ribs, like this one. I'll let this go, it's getting too strong for me. Some have ribs. If you look at the pulley down here, that pulley is smooth. The back side goes, this side goes on the smooth. The ribs go on the ribs. So pretty simple, just like these. The new one, ribs and smooth. So as stupid as that sounds, it'll save your life when you're trying to put these things back together. Before I forget also, while you're working on these, very important, battery, 10mm, take it off. So disconnect it from your battery. So if you have these, if these continue to stay on it, you can wind up you know, it's not likely you would wind up shocking yourself, but still, the last thing you want to do is short out your new alternator or cause any problems from having a circuit going through it. I just took off this bracket. This is one of the cables that connected to the alternator itself. So you can see when you take off the rubber sealer, this, just push it in, pull it out. So these things are pretty simple. So don't try to force them. Just push these in, pull them out. And I have the other one down here. And just try to get off the rubber seal. And you can see that one is probably a 10mm, just like this. These were 10mm. Invest in a little pan like this. They come in handy. So it's better than losing your stuff. Also I want to show you, I have the old belt here. The new one costs $30. This one, on inspection, it's not cracked. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's missing like if you're missing pieces on here, if you bend it and it's cracked, then normally it's bad. Or it needs to be replaced eventually. But this one looks perfectly fine, so I'm going to just return return the other one, get my 30 bucks back. So it's you know, just a little helpful hints to try to save some money. So you can always return stuff. And I have another little hint that I use that a lot of people don't. People are gonna get mad if I tell them, probably from CarQuest or wherever. But I order parts online, and you get a big discount online whenever you order stuff. And I order stuff that I order a lot of stuff that I don't need because you get a discount according to how much you buy. And I just bring the stuff back to the store and I just return it. So then you just return the stuff, but you already have a discount on the stuff that you bought. So it's kind of a cheap way of saving money, but I'm really cheap. Anyway, so that's about it. I'll take off some more. I'll show you what else I'm doing. Alright, I'm digging in here. This is a 12 millimeter. I thought it might have been a 10, but it's a 12. The brackets again for here these are 10 millimeter. That's 12 millimeter. There's a bolt, this bolt right here. I pulled out of the top up here. So it actually goes right in here. So that holds the top part of the alternator in. That was a 12 millimeter also. Down there, if you can see where my socket's connected, that's a 14 millimeter. So I'm going to pull that out. This is one of the things I hate most about cars, is everything's so damn tight. And if you wear a watch or anything else, you're just snagged. And of course I wear a watch, but you can see it's turning and it's going, but it's just so damn tight. So I'm going to remove the bracket and then we'll see if I can yank it right out from there. Okay, so it's just a 12 millimeter. It's actually right here where my finger is. So I'll take that out and go from there. Okay, well, I got this bracket off. So this was holding the alternator in. So it's a 12 millimeter bolt. The alternator I loosened out. Just like any other project you always have, you'll notice that you have something that's like 4 feet wide and whatever, and you have a 2-foot hole. So this is, I'm going to have to do some manipulation, and just this is anything else. You just have to figure out what you have to move or take off in order to pull that out. So I'm looking at some different things on here that I might be able to move around. So we will see. I don't know if the fan has to be moved. I don't know if how that comes out. But you know, I might have to move the fan. You know, whatever. But I'll be pulling that out soon. So might have to take off this reservoir. So whatever has to move, I'll move it, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay, so this is like 5 minutes later, if that. So all I did basically was I pulled this up, and most of the resistance was, ironically, this tube right here, the air conditioner hose. And I'm trying to pull it up against the hose. It was a pain, but I was able to manipulate this over, and it actually came out quite smoothly. So it got caught up on a few different pieces, but if you're able to, I actually spun it. So I put the alternator in, and I just kind of turned the alternator and pulled it and turned it up and twisted it out and around. So it came out rather well. The oblong piece is one of the things you have to worry about. So this was getting caught, so I had to return it and then start from a different point and then spin it around, and it spun right out. So it was nice. Now my car, and I just saw this thing right in here. That is a water beetle. What in the heck is a water beetle doing in my car? That's weird. Yeah, so that right there is a water beetle. Huh. That is the oddest thing I've ever seen. So a water beetle outside. Okay, as you can see, I got the new ones in place. All I have to do is bolt everything back in. So there's the old one. It's the brackets, some of the bolts that go in there. Here's my little friend that I just caught swimming around. I'm going to bring him back to the pond. Alright, so we got this down, got it tightened in. Just trying to find out where this hole is. There we go. So I'm just putting back these cables, as you can see. This is this one. Just find out how it goes in. Snaps right into place. And slide the rubber boot back over it. So I'll do that with two hands in just a minute. And then this one, of course, goes in, and then you just bolt it up with the bolt. They changed it up on me here. It used to be a 12mm, but now it's a 13. This new one's a 13mm, so I got it in there. So it's one of those things they do just to change things up on you. So I'll put that in. I mean, you could probably use the old bolt, but whatever. I'll use what they got. Actually, I like the old one better. So if the old one fits, I'll put that on instead, just because I just like that type better than this. These are kind of cheap. Finished with that piece. I actually used my old bolt in there, and I used a lock washer also. And of course, to make it, to seal it, you just put the plastic boot back over top of it. It's a lot easier. I'm going to buy a GoPro so I can do videos without using my finger, so I can use my both hands. But that's about it. I'm going to put these back on the bracket, so all the wires have to go back on the bracket like they were. Okay, I have everything back together. All I didn't put back together is the battery so far. The battery's hooked up. So I have all the brackets, all the other rig ups. This belt, I have to say, is by far the worst freaking belt I ever put on. I mean, you got knuckle busters, and I mean, it didn't bust me up too bad, but and it just the tensioner, I don't know what it was, but it just wouldn't fit. So I had to take off this hose, which is, you know, no big deal. But yeah, so now it's all right back up. All I gotta do is put the battery back on. I'm gonna start it up and see how it runs. The belt was partly slid off, so it slid over. I mean, I couldn't get it all the way on. It was just too tight. So what I wound up doing is your tension pulley. As soon as I got that pulled over, you hook a 3/4 inch socket up to here, and I just pulled and I just spun the engine around. And I kept pulling the engine around until I got the belt on all the way, and then I had to do the same thing down below. So I had to actually stand up on top of pretty much stand inside the car, turn this at the same time, and then try to manipulate the one down at the bottom at the same time. It was a real pain in the neck. So with two people, it would have probably been a hell of a lot easier. But I'm not sure why it was so tight, because it came off rather easy, but it was super tight going back on. But now it is back on and looks good. I just had it running. It runs good. So I'm going to take it for a spin. Alright, I got it all back running again. So all that's in. You can see the brand new alternator now. So I'm just grateful it's finished. It was all easy up until it's putting on a serpentine belt. That probably took me about 20 minutes just to do by itself. But all rigged up there, looking good. So sweet. Take it for a ride and see how it runs. Alright, here he goes. I'm going to drop him in this little stream right here. So then he can swim his own little self back over there. Right, Buggy? You're just going away. Here, swim. Oop, there he goes. Goodbye. See? Save animals.